From the ashes of the Krakoan era, Marvel is resurrecting the X-Men with a relaunch that begins this summer. And at South by Southwest this week, Marvel broke all the news. Well, not all, but a lot of the news about what this new relaunch is going to look like, who's going to be involved, and what characters we can expect to see. And so the big question on my mind, after seeing all of these things and hearing everything that they had to say, is this what we were waiting for? Is this the X-Men relaunch? Is this why we needed to get Tom Brevoort in? Is this what we were hoping for? That's what we're going to be answering this week here on the show. We've got a full house. We've got Gail.
What's up? Hot dogs.
Marco.
Hello, Kay.
Tyler.
Hi.
And of course, I'm Sean. And you are the listener. Thank you for being here. Whether you're watching us live or you hear my voice in the future, thank you. We're happy to have you. Make sure that you smash the like button or the equivalent of that wherever it is that you're listening to this show. If you like what we do, and if you're not familiar, you're about to get familiar. All right. So South by Southwest is some kind of convention. I actually don't know too much about it. It's not about comics, but Marvel, Disney, they were there. And this is where they decided to break the news about the X-Men during, the X-Men panel, the Marvel panel. And they revealed the opening salvo of the slate of comics that will begin in July. So we got 3. Gail?
How many?
3 different X teams. 3.
Count them.
3.
1, 2, 3.
And, I think we all kind of said 1 is great, 2 the max. But we're staring at 3. So
3's a crowd.
let's run through the 3. Let's run through the 3. So first up is X-Men #1, adjective list. This is written by Jed Mckay. Jed Mckay with art by Ryan Stegman.
Oh, okay.
So right up front, you tell me Ryan Stegman. That sounds good to me.
Yes, sir.
But then you tell me Jed Mckay.
I'm going to have to go to bat for Jed Mckay here. I'm sorry.
Why? Why?
Damn.
Literally, sure, Avengers was not your cup of tea. It was not right down your alley. It was not your cat's pajamas. But
Give me 3 more.
no. So there's so many other good Jed Mckay books that you've liked too, like Doctor Strange. You've liked Clea. You've liked Moon Knight. I think we might have read Black Cat early on, and I feel like you've liked that as well.
I never read Black Cat.
Okay, well maybe the MJ book.
You dare accuse.
Well, they're he has a good track record, and his Avengers is getting better.
I don't like. I just his work is not for me. Like Doctor Strange was cool, Strange was cool, but I dropped both those books. I did not complete either of those things. And then the Death of Doctor Strange, I didn't even like. So Jed Mckay is not my guy.
When you say dropped, do you mean you stopped reading it, or you also stopped buying it?
Stop buying
Okay,
it.
because I gotta ask
That
for you.
if I stop buying something, that's not a good sign. That's
This
a
is true.
condemnation.
This is true.
So, okay, that's the creative team. This is the character team. And this is just what we know so far. So Cyclops, Beast, Magneto, Psylocke, Kid Omega, Temper, Magic, and Juggernaut. So that's quite a roster. You've got 8 characters there. How do you guys feel about that team?
I really like that Temper and Quentin Quire in this. Temper used to be Oya, which was in Jason Aaron's Wolverine and the X-Men. She was like the POV young character there, and she's kind of grown up now. And and her and Quentin Quire had a thing in Wolverine and the X-Men, which I hope is brought up in here. But I like how they have 2 POV young characters in an X-Men book again, that have history. So I feel like there's going to be like relationship drama, which is like good X-Men to me. Although Juggernaut looks like a executioner for some reason, like with the way his new helmet is. I mean, I don't hate this, honestly. I don't hate this. I just the question marks are, why does Scott look so young? And which Psylocke is this? Is it Betsy Braddock or is it Quanon? So I don't know what's going on there either. But I like this lineup.
Yeah, same. I think the fact that you can get some drama between a few of these characters probably gonna drum up some excitement in story. And frankly, I like that they got 2 sorties out front. Cool pose, cool poster. This looks exciting. I'm down for this. Love the branding too.
I don't know temper. So
That's your only
It's
thought.
fine.
Yeah, so it's worth pointing out that that beast is the beast that they brought back in X-Force. That's
Yeah.
not current timeline beast.
the
Oh,
reset
okay.
beast.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So
That was convoluted.
yeah. Well,
Well,
yeah, exactly. They
Not done yet.
they needed to get Beast back to 1 because
Yeah.
Right.
the version of Beast in X-Force is just irredeemable. Yeah, I look, I do not this like I'm not gonna pull a punch. This team's ass to me. Like I'm totally ready to wait and read the book,
Yeah.
not prejudging the quality of the book based on this announcement because I got to read it. But the only thing that I care for on this is that Ryan Stegman is doing the art. So I don't understand what's going on with Cyclops. They say that that is not Teen Cyclops, so I guess maybe just a stylistic choice on Stegman's part. Don't love the look. Juggernaut, to me, that like Juggernaut and the X-Men, that has go away heat.
That doesn't make
Really?
sense.
That's I can't stand that they try to
Really?
make this happen. It's so dumb. Juggernaut is not a mutant. I don't understand
Oh,
why. Like, what the fuck? He's not a mutant.
Has there been precedent for non-mutants in the X-Men before?
No, not to my knowledge. Deadpool on X-Force, but I mean,
He's a mutant.
Deadpool's a mutant,
Yeah,
so
he's a mutant, yeah.
yeah. No. I don't understand why they keep doing this with Juggernaut. Never going to be able to accept it. Never, ever, ever. So, yeah. And then what's up with Magneto?
in the chair.
He might have taken a fall at one point. I don't know. I mean, he gets resurrected, apparently, in the resurrection of Magneto, so maybe he doesn't get full HP.
Yeah. Blue Spaceman says, well, X-Men allies technically have been human. For sure. Ally.
Allies. Yeah.
But
X-Men.
teammate?
I think Warbird was an X-Men at one point, and she's just technically an alien.
Okay. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just know my feelings on Juggernaut. Juggernaut should not be a part of the X-Men. He's not a mutant. He's an anti-mutant person. I mean, obviously they've rehabbed his character, but whatever. So yeah, this is the first team that we have. But as I said, there are 2 more. So up next, wait, actually, before I move forward, the core X-Men team that we just discussed is fighting out of Alaska.
What?
Yeah, they're fighting out of Alaska.
We're
So-
sure this is the core X-Men team.
Well, I'm not saying when I say core, I shouldn't have said that. I don't mean like the primary team. I just, the first one we talked about.
Sure.
They're fighting out of Alaska. It seems to me there's a trailer. I don't know if you guys saw it, but there's a trailer, and it was kind of cool. But it gives you a lot more details. It seems like mutant kind is scattered now, and they don't have like a centralized location. That's the vibe I got. And so this team is based out of Alaska, but not all the teams are based out of the same place. So, yeah, let's move on to the next one. So Uncanny X-Men. Number one, they're bringing that back. That's the title. Uncanny.
Yeah.
So we got for this one, written by Gail Simone.
Cha-ching.
To the surprise of no one that she's a part of this. I mean, come on, at this point, right?
To me, I predicted against it for some reason. I don't know why.
David Marquez on art. So we already knew this creative team. What we didn't know was what and why and how. So now we have some of that information. The team, the character team consists of leader Rogue, Gambit, Jubilee, Nightcrawler, Wolverine. So that's a pretty small, compact team right now. I can't imagine it's going to stay that way. I got to imagine they're going to add a couple of people at some point. This team, though, is based out of New Orleans.
What?
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense.
That makes sense because Rogue and Gambit live there and they have a lot of cats, and you got to be able to take care of them.
Style so serious as you're being mutinist. Well, is Magneto not a mutinist? Magneto's cool with the fact that Juggernaut is on the same team as him when Juggernaut does not care for mutants. Obviously, Magneto and Juggernaut worked together in the past as a part of the Brotherhood, which now in my life makes no fucking sense to me. But I have a hard time with Juggernaut being a part of this.
Isn't Juggernaut, is he still canonically Xavier's brother?
Yeah.
Half, yeah.
So it's a bit like, hey, Juggernaut, do you want to come join my football team? Like, I know you don't like football, but like, we could really use an extra guy.
And you're big, so
Yeah.
A little nepotism too.
yeah.
And isn't his costume out of Full Metal? Like Magneto's got that. He's fine.
Got a tight leash.
I don't associate Rogue with a team leader. Like I like
That's
Wolverine
rude.
more in that picture.
I don't like Wolverine leading an X-Men team.
Really? Okay.
No.
I enjoy that quite a bit.
I'm with Tyler. I despise when Wolverine is a leader. I think he works better as not the outsider, because he's clearly not an outsider anymore, but the guy who's willing to go rogue, for lack of a better term, to get shit done. Gail.
Yeah, to me, I don't know. Of the people in this picture, though, like he's the one that's the most leader-like to me. So I don't. It's weird to me that Rogue would be the leader.
Rogue's led the Avengers before.
But has she led the X-Men?
Uncanny
So,
Avengers is technically
during X-Men Legacy.
Yes. Yep.
Mckay, she was the leader of that team, but that was not the main team, but she was the leader. So like personally, I'm not a fan of Rogue as the leader of the team, but of the characters that are present right here, yeah, sure.
Kind of like this team makeup.
I do too. Yeah.
It's classic.
Yeah.
It's classic. I think you've got two projectile characters, you've got two heavy hitters, and then you've got the teleporter, who you could also class as a bit of a speedster.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's got a good spread of ability.
Power set works out.
Power
here.
set.
Yeah. If this was like a Dota game, then you got a good makeup there for a team. I really like how Jubilee's in this. I know this feels very X-Men 97 in a way, but I'm okay with it, and I'm okay with how small the team is. I don't know if any of you guys read Gail Simone's Domino run.
Yeah.
That was an ensemble book, essentially. It had weird characters that were like, on Domino's team. And I think Simone works well in kind of a core team environment. So I think this might play to her strengths, honestly.
I'm over the moon about the creative team. I love this creative team. Gail Simone, to me, is one of the best writers in comics. I always love everything I've read of hers, I've enjoyed. And David Marquez, god damn, this dude is on another level. David Marquez is an elite level artist that doesn't get enough elite level work. So I'm very happy with this creative team. The character team, I like it fine. It's just not exciting. And I feel like it's missing just a little something. And
Yeah.
Rogue and Gambit is, I just like, Gail's gonna play it fine, a sexual tension, a relationship. Gail will do that stuff really well. But I just wish there was a little bit something more to this.
In terms of like the potential for adventure, what was the angle there?
I guess just an additional character to mix it up a little bit.
Another personality.
Yeah.
Okay, I see that. Yeah.
Honestly, maybe hot take, but Deadpool might work in this team, which Gail Simone has a history with. And he is coming out with a movie soon, so
That's the only thing they could do to make me not want to read the book.
that's why I said hot take. Yeah.
Cole in the chat makes a good comment here. I hope they make creative use of the cities that they choose for the different titles. If the last one's in Alaska, this one's in Louisiana. Or New Orleans, was it right?
Mm-hmm.
That's in Louisiana. Don't panic.
No. Being more specific, I think if they can like take advantage of the environment, be able to, if it's gonna be local, then it'd be cool to see the variation of what you get around the area, the South too. So it'd be interesting.
You want Rogue and Gambit to be drunkenly looking for a third on Bourbon Street.
Specifically, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Mardi Gras will look us a little wild.
I think if there's any writer at Marvel who will address the two dick situation,
It's Kelly
Gail
Thompson.
Simone. Well,
Oh.
you get Kelly Thompson too, actually, now that you mention it. But Gail Simone will go there. So we'll see. If it doesn't come up, it's because it's not allowed to come up. That would be my guess as far as Gail Simone is concerned.
You're saying Wolverine's the third?
No. The fact that he has two dicks.
The third and fourth.
No, right.
So, Gavin in the chat, Gavin Guidry, future artist on Birds of Prey. So
Currently, because he said he's currently working on it.
He's drawing right now. Yeah.
Let's address that later. Go
But
for it.
he mentioned the costumes in this, and I think the Marquez designed. I believe it's. I don't know who designed it. I think it was Marquez for Wolverine, but that Wolverine costume is nice looking. I like that we're back to
What are you
blue and
talking
gold.
about? It looks like every Wolverine costume ever,
It's a little,
with the exception of the
sleeker.
brown one because it's yellow.
Did you see the actual costume design pages though? I didn't put them on the stream, but like the more like segmented designed one, I think the costume looks really nice.
Yeah, I'm much more happy aesthetically with this team.
Yeah.
I don't know if I guess I prefer Marquez. This is in interiors, so whatever. But I just like the way this team looks more. I can't get I don't know, man. I can't get past Cyclops and Juggernaut from a visual standpoint. Just in this promo image, I don't like the way they look. But like we said, there's one more team to go. So the last team. Oh, and by the way, before I move forward, the Uncanny book that drops on August 7th. So July for the X-Men adjective list, and then August for Uncanny.
Are they monthly, Sean?
It appears so, yeah.
Okay.
The last one is Exceptional X-Men. This is by Ewing with art by Carmen Carnero. This one drops September 4th. And it features Kate Pryde as the leader, which we had talked about that would be the case. But then it also features, it's like a team of young mutants, Bronze, Axo, and Melee. I don't know them. Are they, Tyler,
They're new.
are they from the... Huh?
They're new for this.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And Emma Frost is here as well.
This is a very Hellion style thing, isn't it? In that it's a group of new young characters who need tutelage.
Yeah, this is Emma's MO.
And Emma's involved, yeah.
And I like how Kitty is leading this. Because I think it's a natural trajectory for her character. You know, she was the young character, and now she's the leader of those young characters. The solicits or description of the book left me wanting, but yeah.
I can't get up for this. It's Ewing is solid. I read a little bit of her Ironheart stuff, and the Black Panther. I think her Black Panther run. I read like the first issue. That I couldn't really, I couldn't deal with that. I'm not like way into her work. So okay, Carmen Carnero, very talented. Definitely excited for the art side of this thing. But the character team, nah.
Sean, do you have the little blurb about what this is about?
I've got it in front of me. Do
Okay.
you?
I do, but go for it. Go.
Okay, yeah. Kitty, the one-time kid sister figure of the X-Men, has to reckon with her own memories, good and bad, of being a child of Xavier as she navigates a role as leader and mentor for a new generation of mutants who are trying to make their way in a time of crisis. Ewing says, I always tried to strike a chord between appealing to veterans, comics fans, and new readers. But since so many people fell in love with the X-Men as teens, and this book is about a team of young folks, that feels especially important to me here. I hope that for some 13 to 14-year-old readers, this might be the first comic they pick up.
Generous.
The part that annoyed me was it was during the panel. I guess it's not in the press release, but it was said that Kitty is trying to leave her mutant past behind and to be a barista when a group of fledgling mutants pulls her back as a teacher to these new mutants.
Oh, girlfriend, you'd be better off being a teacher of mutants.
I don't.
Barista.
I mean, yeah, I don't see a world where Kate Pryde leaves mutants. I don't care how much she likes coffee. Like
she spent most of Krakoa barely being one.
Well, because we never got the answer as to why she wasn't let in.
Yeah, so I have to assume neither did she.
Yeah, go ahead, Marco.
I'm not interested in this team. Like, this doesn't. I don't know who some of these are. Like also the colors here look bland. Like even the cover itself doesn't look enticing. So I'm kind of down on this one.
The cover looks like there's actual characters like not unlocked yet. Like
Yeah.
there's blank space
Yeah.
for it.
That's hilarious. Yeah, so those are the three teams that have been announced so far. I was really hoping for one team, one, big, bold team, and then, if you're going to do another one, like an X-Force. But this is three teams before we even get to X-Force. And it's coming. So that means that there's going to be four teams, presumably at once. And we haven't even gotten into any of the, solo books or anything like that.
Yep.
And for me, that's very concerning. So the image, one of the promo images that they released shows, these different X-Men teams, right? But then underneath, it shows various different images for books that will probably be released, like, the title of them or character references. So Phoenix, X Factor, Storm, NYX, so next, Nyx, X-Force, and Wolverine. So that's an additional 6 titles, essentially.
Plus the Ms. Marvel one that is just coming out.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Which I don't know how long that is.
It's probably
but if
another
it's
4-issue.
if it's still going on at that time, then boom. So that's 9 books. If we assume that every single one of these teased titles is going to come out. Now, personally, as a lover of Jean Grey and the Phoenix, I have no care for a Phoenix book. Whatever that would look like, I have no care for it. I'm good on that. Wolverine, we know. That's obvious. There has to be a Wolverine title.
Big seller.
Not drawn by Greg Capullo. I'm calling it.
Stop it. Storm, the big scuttlebutt with Storm, the rumor is that Storm is going to become a politician and try to become the first like mutant president. So that would explain why she's not a part of any of these teams.
Okay.
Storm, of all the individual X-Men not named Wolverine, I think has the best shot at carrying a solo series.
Yeah.
So that's nice, but it's really going to depend on the creative team. Because Storm can come across very dry and boring if written by the wrong person.
Yeah. She's very
Also,
stoic. You got to put her in the right situations.
Yeah,
They need the right colorist on that book too.
for sure.
But also, you got to think of what was the book that was put X-Corp
X-Corp.
X-Corp.
business one
Yeah.
by was it Teeny Howard?
No, that was by Vita. Was it by Vita? I believe.
No, I think it was Teeny.
I think
it was Teeny
I thought
because
it was Vita.
she had a background in business or whatever, and she thought it was anyway. If you don't do Storm right and make at least her interesting, that environment of politics, if you don't do that right, boy, that title will tank.
Rough. Yeah.
Yeah, it was Tina.
Yeah. Okay. X Factor. Look, X Factor's cool, Havoc, Polaris, but boy, how many teams do we need here?
Yeah, just walk in.
That one needs to have some kind of reason. Like Peter David's X Factor became a detective agency book at one point, which is like, all right, that's a whole different flavor. I understand that. That needs to have a clear game plan.
Mission statement.
To come out. Yeah, mission statement. Yeah.
Yeah, they can't just be mutant superheroes.
Yeah, like X-Force understood what that's probably going to be.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Got a quick question from the chat from Alexander Bruno
Yeah.
about the exceptional title. Sean, what if they pop some half gloves on Emma on this book? Are you into that then?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Simple
All
man.
But
Love it.
we're outside of our half glove era, dude. Like it's over. I guarantee you, the next time we see Saturnine, her gloves will be full gloves. And I'll cry.
If we see Saturnine ever again.
Yeah, you think we're going to Otherworld anytime soon?
Well, just somewhere in Marvel Comics, at some point or another, whenever it is that we see Saturnine again, she will not have half gloves. We have Russell Dauterman to thank for the half glove revolution, and it was a beautiful time. Emma Frost, Saturnine, these women were killing it with gloves that were barely there.
And you gotta think too, like Krakoa was built on high fashion.
Yes.
That's right. That's right.
That's gone.
Pushing all boundaries.
Look at the cover, the spread cover we've got here. Like high fashion is out the window.
What if X Factor is a high fashion mutant reality show?
That's
Who has
interesting.
The X Factor.
Copyright.
Ooh,
Oh wait, yeah.
Yeah. Good idea.
that's a real good idea.
Such a good idea that
Ain't happening.
Yeah. Too good for Marvel.
They wouldn't ever.
I mean, that's what X Statics was. It was a reality show originally. Milligan
Yeah.
did it that way. Yeah.
Hey,
That's
we
a
got
tough
a
book.
we got a lot of people here hanging out with us right now. You guys are fantastic. Make sure you hit that like button. Let's get to 25, 30,
Yeah,
and
sure.
we'll guarantee
Go 30.
we'll go 30. We'll guarantee we'll spin the wheel if we can get 30. Dylan says we'll give you one half glove and one glove that's half off. Best we can do.
That's halfway off.
This is like Shark Tank. I'm out.
Yeah, I am out. I need that back. That should become a real life trend.
What do you think about the inclusion of Nyx here?
I don't know who it is.
Yeah, I know what that is.
It was Joe Quesada's. It originally started as Joe Quesada, then went to Marjorie Liu. That was what introduced X-23. That was the book. It was was it a Max book? It might have been a Max book. But I'm worried. Like, am I happy Laura will probably have a vehicle for something here? Yes. I'm worried she gets demoted back to X-23. Because that would feel like a complete backward step for the character.
Oh,
Why? That's who she is.
But that's like her clone name. That's like she refuses to be known as just a weapon number at that point.
I can see that. I mean, I'm not the right person because I personally don't. To me, she is X-23. Wolverine is a singular person in my mind, but I kind of don't think they're going to do that to her. I think Marvel likes the fact that they have her as Wolverine as well, and I think they're going to keep her in that role. It's just like, but it's in name only. That's the only thing that kind of frustrates me about that. And otherwise, I don't know what Nyx is. I don't know what to expect from it. So to me, it's ancillary.
It was a New York X, I think, is what it was. It's a New York division.
Okay.
Oh, okay. That's how I was reading it. I thought it was NYX.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Gavin, dude. Yes, dude. He said, "I'm officially tempted to give Zealot half gloves now."
Oh.
Pick of the week.
Yeah.
Pick of the week. I'm telling you now.
You get those on a variant cover. He's gonna be spending some money.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes.
Have to call
man.
Bean.
Yo, Bean, real quick.
I need a loan.
So here's something a little interesting. Bleeding Cool on Friday put out an article that, well, actually it was before Friday. It was a few days before. They put out a list of books that were rumored to be a part of this relaunch. And, according to Rich, this is based on context, this is based on information, but also some speculation. So here's the list, and you tell me if this sounds familiar. X-Men, Gail Simone, David Marquez. Sentinels by Alex Packnadel. Young X by Ewing. Cyclops by Jed Mckay and Ryan Stegman. Phoenix by Stephanie Phillips. Wolverine by Saladin Ahmed and Greg Capullo. And Mystique by Declan Shalvey.
Huh.
So obviously, we already know X-Men was a thing. Young X, different name, but it's a thing. And Cyclops is on the team, but it's not just Cyclops, but it is that same creative team. So all those are accurate, more or less. Phoenix is on this list by Stephanie Phillips. We know there is a Phoenix book coming based on what we saw.
And
go ahead.
If it's Stephanie Phillips on it too, like that's a draw
That's
for
hot.
me. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. And then the Wolverine, obviously we know there's a Wolverine book. We know Greg Capullo's doing it. Saladin Ahmed being the writer, that's perfectly fine. He's a great writer. Mystique and Sentinels, those are the outliers. Those are the things that there wasn't even a whiff of any kind of announcement for them, but those sound like very interesting titles.
I'm wondering if
interesting creative teams.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if one of them could be NYX, whereas like Cyclops was X-Men. NYX could be a team book with Mystique leading the team.
Or it could be Sentinels with, because their whole thing with Tony Stark right now.
Right.
Isn't there a whole the Sentinel situation is with Tony Stark in New York right now?
I don't think we can even say anything right now matters to what's happening.
I mean, so far it doesn't seem like there's gonna be it seems like they're moving forward from Krakoa as opposed to completely resetting the whole thing.
Mystique can easily lead an X-Force book, and that could be like their not bad guy book in the line, but
I actually like that a lot.
Yeah,
that
Declan
sounds
on
hot.
X-Force sounds good. I'm thinking of like what did he do? Old dog? Is that what?
Old
that was
dog,
kind of like a grizzled, spy book. So
you know what, Tyler? I'm sniffing. I smell what you're cooking, dude. I like that.
Gavin said, if Declan's doing Mystique and didn't tell me, we're gonna have words. Gavin? I think you need to have words and report back. We won't say anything. It'll just be between us.
I do like the idea of Mystique being big still. Like, she was probably one of the biggest characters in the Krakoan era.
Yeah.
And how that, at least that notoriety is sticking with her potentially, according to this leak, for post-Krakoa stuff.
Red Ring Z says, still seems weird making X-Men hate it again is weird. I haven't seen your name before. If you're new, welcome. Thank you for commenting and hanging out with us. So the thing is, right, that I've seen a lot of people saying that. And in the Krakoan era, they were definitely hated. They segregated themselves, and they did it because of how hated they were and because they needed, they felt, strength in numbers, right? And whenever they came out with the medicine, the Krakoan medicine for humans, if you recall, there were a lot of nations that outright rejected that.
Mm-hmm.
And Orcus was built off literally pure hatred and fear. So, and they were working day and night to turn the narrative even further in the public eye against mutants, which is why the fall of X was possible, because no one questioned the rampant sentinels. No one questioned the snatch and grabs of mutants. No one questioned the attack on Krakoa, because this is what the population now wants, because they've been convinced that they need this by Orcus and their media machine. So I don't know that I agree with the notion that this is a change. I think this is just shuffling the hatred deck. How are we going to present the hatred this time around? But it's always there. A lot of people loved them too. I'm sure a lot of people will love them still. That's how it goes.
The only thing out of all of these things that I don't think we know about is the Xavier School. And I've been thinking about, because all these teams are elsewhere, and so what are we doing with back at, like, meat and potatoes? I always assume to be back in Westchester, so that we don't have that feels a little like we're missing something.
Well, we did learn a little bit about that. Which we'll get in Blood Hunt, I believe, right? Blood Hunt, essentially the school exists, but it's a prison now. I think that's how they marketed it in the meeting, with a special prisoner who I'm pretty sure is Professor X.
Prisoner X, yeah. Right? Yeah, it makes sense that it would be Professor X for sure. Could be Moira. Because look, it's a fact that they are not killing Moira in order to reboot the timeline. That is not going to happen. If it were going to happen, then we would know and understand that the Krakoan era will be erased, and they've been explicit that that's not the case. So if they are not getting rid of Moira in that way, what happens to her?
She dies of natural causes.
Marowak Oscuro says this is the Australian outcome of the fall of X, which is an interesting take.
It's funny
because it does feel a little bit like the Outback X-Men. Like they big status quo change, and they kind of get, there's a bit of a diaspora a bit, which will eventually come back to the school.
Okay.
I think
reclaiming.
Yeah. I think they just didn't want to immediately go back to the roots, because people were very upset by that prospect. So I think they're and again, this is from the ashes. So this is a very specific portion of the relaunch. What will it look like when we get out of that phase and into whatever the next phase is, if you will? I think Mansion is in their future, as it should be. I don't have a need to watch these people in Alaska.
Yeah.
Isn't that where Scott's from?
I don't know.
Is he?
Yeah.
It would make sense. Dry as he is.
Cold.
I say that as a lover of Cyclops.
I thought you were going to say I say that as an Alaskan. Excuse me?
You can't be black and Alaskan, Kale. That doesn't happen.
Well, that's why I figured that's why you moved to New York.
No. Like, you cannot be born black in Alaska. It's not possible.
Interesting.
Jay Gomez says, just give X Factor to Peter David so I can buy one of them. Well, is Peter David doing work after? I
No, he's
genuinely
ill.
don't
He's
know
ill.
after all the health issues. Yeah.
Not currently, I don't think.
Unless it's old stuff or like stuff he's
Yeah,
already had.
there was an old Spider-Man title that's been
Yeah.
I don't know if that's still going though.
It's Symbiote with Greg Land. It was.
Was it was a Scarlet Spider.
Hmm.
And a Ben Riley title was the most recent.
So,
Yeah.
so one thing looking at this line from a top-down perspective is that I need to know, like, Uncanny and X-Men seem like they have the same status quo, just in different locations.
Yeah.
And in a way, Exceptional X-Men too, which I think is in Chicago.
That makes sense.
It is every book is going to deal with them helping out, mutants that are, lost or stranded or new. And I'm not sure I dig that. I wish, I mean, I would hope that each book has, a distinct identity, but it seems, at least from the way that they're talking about it, these three books kind of seem a little samey in terms of what they're trying to do.
I agree with that. I don't need something radical. Like, I certainly wasn't expecting anything close to Krakoa. But I would have liked a little, like, mission statements that are not the same, I think that's
flavor.
Yeah. And apparently it's coming. X Factor's coming down the road. I like I said, I think they very specifically only announced these three books this way because of the From the Ashes arc of this relaunch. I think things will get a lot more interesting down the road.
And do you think some of the books that we get below will also be coming out around the same time? Because there's no solicits for even June at this point. So technically, Phoenix could come out in July as well. It just seems a little weird to have one X-Men book on the stands for 2 months. Or 1 month, really.
I'm of the mind that if they were going to tell us, if those books were imminent, I'm of the mind that they would have told us a little bit more. It's especially if Greg Capullo and Saladin Ahmed is the real creative team, and if that book is ready to go, if Greg's ready, you don't drop that bomb at South by Southwest.
That's a seller.
Yeah.
Well, and I really think they went to South by Southwest for a different reason, but we'll get into that, I'm sure.
Gail, South by Southwest used to be a music festival, I believe, right? And then it essentially got bought out by tech.
Yeah, I think that's right, because I think they also did a lot of like TV talks and stuff too.
Sure, yeah. It was an arts festival that is now very much like in the pocket of big tech.
I think that's probably more accurate. None of this does anything for me, to be honest. Post Krakoa, this just isn't exciting enough.
For how radical it was. So.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So, look, if you're a longtime comics reader, which certainly we all are here, rubber banding, which is a term that references the fact that, like a rubber band, comic book characters' stories often stretch and go and do different things, but then it snaps back and you go back to one. Spider-Man, Peter Parker, was a rich tech business owner towards the end of Dan Slott's run. And then in the very next run, he was living on the couch of one of his old villains. This is comics. So I don't get impacted by rubber banding anymore. It's going to happen. My problem is that, to me, this is milquetoast. And again, I will not prejudge. I don't want to prejudge the quality of the books. And I'm certainly excited for aspects of these creative teams. But on the surface, this looks so beyond basic.
Yeah.
And I need to know what is the reason? Other than the fact that we have to have X books on the stands. I get all that. What's the reason? Why are we doing this? Why Alaska? Why these characters? What's going to make me need this? I don't need this right now. When I saw the first tease for Hickman's X-Men, House and Powers, I was like, holy shit, I need this. This is crazy.
Yep. I have to know what's happening. Because
I don't feel that way.
It felt new. This Hoxpox felt life-changing.
And not only that, it was a singular person's vision.
Yeah.
Yep.
And Mike Elliott, says impossible to follow Hoxpox. Absolutely. But like Marvel still got to sell this. So the fact that they have announced this and they're only leaning on the creative teams, like there's nothing exciting here. Okay, you're going to rubber band, but like you still have to make that rubber banding exciting.
Yeah.
Right. I agree. And I have a question. Is it not obvious now? Because to me, it is. But, you guys did not agree with me at the time. Is it not obvious to you guys that there is a Jim Lee-sized hole in this?
No. This sounds like a poor announcement. That's all.
I don't think I understand.
The timing of this announcement plus X-Men 97 launching, the going back to a 90s style presentation with the graphics and some of the characters, I feel like I can definitely see a world in which Jim Lee was supposed to be a part of this. And they didn't get him.
Oh.
No.
How could they?
I don't. I've seen what they pay. They ain't paying Jim Lee anything near Jim Lee's worth. There are job listings out there for Marvel. It is not paying. It is not a high paying job.
And with so many X titles still coming, like if this was just the 3 books, maybe I'd give it to you. But
which title of these would you want him to be on? Like one from the team and then one of the individuals.
So I think if they had Jim Lee, then this would be different.
Totally.
The one thing that this is lacking is a major star.
Yeah.
Like like this is the only era. Well, I guess never mind what I was going to say. This era is not anchored by any particular creator whose name is just massive. You go back, you had Hickman, obviously. He was massive. Bendis.
Astonishing had Whedon.
Yeah.
I think that's a bet of Marvel's own making, though. Like, you look at David Marquez, you look at Ryan Stegman. Those would be bankable names if they had done that, if they had any way of like Jed McKay is probably the first person to be writing X-Men and Avengers at the same time. But like Marvel doesn't really build up hype around their creatives. It's always the name of the book.
You keep saying that, but if the creators' books don't ring out, then it is what it is. Like Jonathan Hickman going to House and Powers wasn't big because Marvel told me it was. It was big because I've read Hickman books before and I already knew he was going to do some crazy shit. Jed McKay is not going to do some crazy shit. Jed McKay is going to do what Jed McKay is doing on Avengers. And that book, I'm not going to say it's bad. I'm going to say that it's like flat. That's how I feel. It doesn't have hype. It doesn't have heat. There's nothing to it. And everything Jed does feels like that. So I don't think that's Marvel's fault that the audience just isn't connecting.
And no disrespect, to Gail Simone, but she's not a superstar creator. Like if this was Gail Simone's X-Men, that might have me a little bit more excited because she would, be leading
overseer.
Yeah. But she's just writing one of the titles. So like even these books, like they don't even necessarily feel at the moment connected in theme. What's the overall problem at the moment?
I like how they also got the other Ewing, so people could be like, "Oh, yo, Ewing and Carnero's there."
Dude, oh my God. Some fucking idiot,
Yeah.
some moron said that Eve Ewing only got the job because of nepotism, because she's
Oof.
related to Al Ewing.
Oof.
Like, what world do we live in? It's 2024. Before you say something so dumb, the least you can do is type the name of the creators in and see what they look like.
Minimum, see what they look like.
Eve Ewing is a black woman from Chicago. Al Ewing is a white dude from somewhere in Europe. They're not related.
I watched Fan Four Stick. I know that the you could have white and black siblings.
Oh man. But yeah,
Wow.
like this doesn't have it has people that their names matter, that
Yeah.
someone will look at this and go, "Oh yeah, I'll buy this for them."
Yeah.
But it doesn't have that oh man, you're dragging me in.
Yeah.
Bendis's era, I don't care for it. But his name being on those books mattered a lot. It's the
Yep.
only reason that people followed those books.
Yep. Cole says that Marvel needs Donny Cates back more than ever.
Oh,
Would
that
do it?
Stay out.
if Donny Cates' name was on this, we'd be having a completely different conversation.
Mhm.
Completely different.
He
Donny
was at
Cates
South
is a
by
star.
Southwest taking pictures with Steve Cebulski. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just know he's still rehabbing stuff right now because like that dude got fucked up.
He's a star. He
Yeah.
would be a name to put on this, and you could build around that.
And that's, maybe this is just where things are at the moment, but to get back to the mansion, maybe that will be where that superstar artist comes in, say it's Donny Cates. He's in the background writing this lead up to the mansion, getting things back further to the status quo to blow it up again.
Yeah. It's another missed opportunity. And again, I'm sure there are good reasons on Donnie's part why he's out of the mix, but Ultimates was supposed to be him. It's not confirmed. I will always believe that was supposed to be him. I believe that's why he got a thank you in the credits of that first issue. This here could have, I mean, if it's Cates and Stegman instead of Mckay and Stegman, that goes from a book that feels kind of mid to a book that's probably top tier and probably going to be one of Marvel's bestsellers, just like King in Black was. If you think that they don't want Donny Cates' name on a book right now, you're bugging.
Thank you, Catherine, for the super chat. Happy to be back. You guys are such an incredible community. Love all of you. Best pals in the universe. Happy to call you friends.
Thank you so much, Catherine. Welcome back. Appreciate it. So yeah, ultimately, I'm looking forward to the Gail Simone aspect of this. Gail Simone and Marquez, that is a great team. Everything else for me is wait and see. I don't want to be too harsh, but I have to come on here and be honest. This isn't what I was hoping for.
Yeah.
Is there a title you feel like is missing from this?
I think there are too many titles. I don't think there's anything missing. I think there's too much here.
Sure, but like, if you were to relaunch X-Men right now, like, is there a title you would put here over another?
I mean,
like, I don't think any of us
wouldn't
would have
have
picked Nyx, you know?
or Exceptional, like have that, and I would have kept X Factor, X Force for that matter. Like
I don't hate Exceptional. I think it's I think there's a bit of going back to its roots with that book that I like, especially with Emma. Getting young people and training them, and I think there's a lot of potential there. I like that Eve may try and reach out for a different audience, and I think that's something that could be sorely missing in the big titles.
But for that, give me a New Mutants and make it with them dealing with like losing Krakoa or something. You know, make it weighty